Good afternoon everyone, welcome to today's press conference to preview our Premier League game against Manchester United. The press conference will take place in three parts. We'll start with broadcast section, then we'll move on to a daily section and finish with Sundays. If you'd like a question, please raise your hand and we'll get round to as many of the askers as possible. We'll begin with Paul Gilmore, Sky Sports News.
Hi Thomas.
Hi.
Thomas, can I begin by asking for an update on all of your injured players and in particular N'Golo Kante and Ben Chilwell, please?
Yeah, of course. Kova is still out for the game on Sunday. N'Golo twisted his knee a little bit and feels quite better since the game, but seems like he will be out for some days. But it's a matter of days, matter of 1 week maybe. We still have a little bit of hopes, but would be almost a miracle if he makes it. So we think about a week or so for N'Golo. And Ben is out. He has he injured he has a partial injury of his ACL. And the decision is to treat it conservatively, and the next 6 weeks will tell the story actually, if he makes it and will be fully available hopefully within this 6 weeks or after the 6 weeks, or needs a surgery after that.
On Chilwell, is it a case of, as you say, treating it conservatively and then making a decision in 6 weeks about whether he requires surgery, and how long are you expecting to be without him?
No, I expect now I only care about the 6 weeks. We are very positive because the first reaction of his body is very positive. So hopefully it stays like this. And now the full focus from everybody is towards the next 6 weeks, and bring him back to the pitch and make him play. This is the decision after all the examinations, and this is a very responsible decision, so there's no rush in it and no pressure, but this is the reasonable way to do it. And so all the focus is now on the next 6 weeks.
I know you're focusing on that 6 weeks, but can you rule out that this is an injury that could keep him out for minimum 6 months at this stage?
But we need to talk about it again in 6 weeks. Maybe we don't need to talk about it because everything is fine, and this would be the best case, and then there's a worst case, and then there's maybe some shades of grey in between. We have to wait. It does not help if we start now speaking about worst cases scenarios, because it's also a best case scenario. And like I said, the decision is made. The next weeks will give the direction. And if there are any updates, we can give you the updates. But right now, this is what we have.
Turning to your opponents this weekend, Ralf Rangnick doesn't look likely will be in the dugout, but is close to being the interim manager of Manchester United. What will he bring to the Premier League? How would you describe his character? And can you also give us some examples of how he helped you in your development as a coach?
He helped me a lot because he was my coach, and then he was one of the main figures to convince me to try coaching. So he had a huge influence on all of us at this time, because he showed us that it's not necessary to follow people to the toilet in football games, because that was the belief in these days, that the defenders follow their strikers wherever they go, and he showed us that it's possible to defend everybody in a zone. But listen, I mean, before I get carried away and talk too much, he is not appointed yet, and let's respect everybody. Let's respect Ralf, his decision, and the club's decision, and when things are done, then we can maybe talk about it.
Last one, Paul.
I just want to ask you then about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. A few weeks ago you said that he has to show his full potential based on his performance against Juventus when he came on. Is it fair to say that the response from him has been overwhelmingly positive?
Yes, but I did not say it to because I was not happy before. I was just mentioning this is. I would always like repeat it even now because I see the potential, and I think that he knows about his potential, and I think that he, as he was a academy player, everybody was very aware about his potential. But the thing is, for him, the next step is to show it to everybody. Everybody in the stadium must go home and know how strong Ruben is, and that is the next step, to actually put the potential on the street and drive the car as fast as possible. And this is what he's doing since many weeks. Otherwise he would not play. Otherwise there would be no chance for him to play, because this is about performance. And he deserves to play, and he deserved to play some weeks ago. And he's in competition with N'Golo, with Jorge, with Mateo Kovacic, with Saul. So he's in one of the toughest competitions for minutes on the pitch. But I can only repeat, I am still happy with Ruben. He was part of a fantastic performance, and this is what we expect, because we can expect it from him, and we will stay very demanding because of his potential.
John Southwood, 5 line. Can't hear you, John. No.
We can hear now.
Yeah.
There we go. How big a blow is the injury to Ben Chilwell? Because he's been really influential, hasn't he, in the last couple of weeks, to the way that you play?
Yeah, there's never a good moment for big injuries and for injuries in general. This for him personally is a very bad moment, because he was so involved and so good and so full of confidence. Was a huge part in our performances and our victories over the last weeks. Yeah, it's a shame. We're very sad. He is actually in the moment very positive. I just spoke to him like some minutes ago. He is very positive, because his body reacts very positive to the first treatments and to the injury. So after a while you have to refocus, and you have to focus on the positive things, which is now the next weeks, and to do everything that is possible, that he can come back on the pitch and help us again. He will come back strong, I'm sure about it.
With Manchester United, have you been surprised what's happened there this season? Were you expecting more from them? Were you expecting them to challenge for the title?
Yeah, I was, and maybe I still am. I will never write anybody off, not in this league and not in this game, because it is a big club, first of all, but it is a very experienced and individually a top level group of players. So this is still the case, and part of the performance from us is to not let them perform, because once we let them perform, you can see, like, within seconds and within minutes in every game, the full potential and the talent of these players, which is like on highest level.
Last one, John.
Just finally, just 2 parts. Firstly, is Romelu ready to start? And the last couple of weeks, has this been the best football you think your side has played since you've been at the club?
We are on a very high level, yes, a very high level, consistently high level. I'm not so much into judging if it is the best, the very best, second best, but it is very strong. We feel very competitive, and we feel that we have a good mix of discipline, of structure, but also freedom, and a certain sharpness and a certain grip in our games and performances, which makes us very happy and very competitive. Romelu is in training. If you ask the player, he would say, yes, I can start for sure. There is a bit of difference between ready for training and ready for games. Then there's also a difference, ready for games or Premier League games. This is another step. Listen, we only have 3 changes. The possibility that he starts is not very high, because we cannot be sure what happens in between matches, and we have to find the balance between, like, giving minutes, but also be absolute competitive for 90 minutes with the guys who play and who start.
Thanks, Adrian. Hi Thomas, how are
Hi,
you?
thanks, I'm good.
Good, excellent. Last season you kept telling us you were the hunters because you were chasing Man City, you were chasing teams in the Champions League. Now you're very much the hunted because you're the team that's top of the table, you're the one everyone's talking about. What do you expect to learn from your team this year that's different from last now that you're being chased down?
Yeah, but it's still a marathon, and the marathon is not finished. And as we started this race as the hunters, and before the race is finished, we will be the hunters if we can stay the whole race in the top flight and in the group that is competing for the win. This is what we want, and this is what we work for, and this is what we dream for, and this is what we are determined for, and this is why we come to every day at Cobham and bring all our energy. This is what we want, but there's still a long way to go, and in between marathons it does not shift, the role does not shift, because Man City and Liverpool showed us what it is about consistency on the absolute highest level, and we have to prove that we are capable of doing it.
Sometimes in a marathon you need someone really young to help you along. Your academy players are helping you out at the moment, aren't they? Reece James, Trevor Chalobah, you mentioned Loftus-Cheek, Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Have even you been surprised at how good the academy has been at Chelsea to produce so many players that can go on and be top stars?
Well, surprised, I don't know, surprised, but we saw it very, very quickly in training that we have some very good kids here, and what makes me maybe the happiest is how much they care about the shirt and the club, and how much they care about their career to make it here. This is very impressive and very nice to see. And like I said before, this makes it special, not only for me as a coach, but I think also for spectators, of course for our supporters, but I think for all people who love the game and love the teamwork in the game that can make the difference, because it is a fantastic mix between homegrown talents and still young boys who have the future in front of them, and have still not reached their highest level. They still can grow in personality, character, and also football-wise. And it's a fantastic mix between top players from abroad that makes it very exciting for me to work with. But I think that this gives also for spectators and guys who love the game a special feeling, and which is amazing.
Last one from me. I know you don't want to talk too much about Ralph Rangnick because he hasn't signed yet on the dotted line, but I understand that you're one of his kind of disciples. You know, you're very good to you and helped you come through. But he's also known for being real front foot football, heavy metal, rock and roll football, like Jurgen Klopp as well. When we spoke last year, you said you were a little bit more like ABBA than rock and roll football. Are you going to have to change your style a bit?
I told you I listened to ABBA because I was in love with a singer. That was in my first years at school, first 4 years at school, because I had to go to school, and I went by the shop where they sell the vinyl, and so that's why. The music was so, and if you play football like ABBA, I don't know if you make it through a Premier League season. Let's say not the whole season. No, we want to play every instrument, because I have the feeling in modern football that there are so many things demanded and so many different things demanded. It's so different if you play Manchester United, or after you play at Watford, then you play Leeds at home. So many different characters of the opponents also, that you really have to adapt, and to impose your style it gets harder and harder. And for that, we need to have answers. We need to have different styles. We need to find solutions. This is what we're trying to do.
Last question in the broadcast, Alex.
Hi, James. How are you?
Hi, good, thanks.
50 games in charge now, just 7 defeats, a record low, 24 goals conceded. Did you imagine it was going to go this well?
No, but maybe that was a good thing. We had no time to think about stuff like this or get carried away. And I'm not the person to, if you can easily get carried away, or maybe you hold yourself down because you think it's not possible. It was very difficult to imagine it like this, because the decision was a very quick one, and the situation was that we were like 8 points behind Liverpool at this moment, and Liverpool were the fourth in the table, and this was the target to reach somehow Champions League qualification. What I can tell is that I was very surprised that it's already 50 games. It did not feel like 50. Time went by so quickly, but it was a fantastic journey so far, and I hope I make some more packages of 50 that I can add to it.
Is it a good time to play Manchester United when they're unsettled, or is it a bad time when they're looking for a reaction?
I don't know if it's ever a good time to play against teams, because that would mean we think that we know something or can predict something. You can see it either way. In the end, we will not lose too many minutes thinking about this, but we will give all our energy and focus on our squad and what we want to do right. We only have one game with Michael Carrick in charge to focus on and to analyze. Of course, we have some individual behavior and some group behavior that we think can be like that we can see as patterns and want to prepare our team for it. And on the other side is always the best moment to play against Manchester United, because we are up for the big challenges, and we wanna be out there to play on the highest level, to prove ourselves and to prove a point. And we just come from a tough match, and there's the next one. This is where we are and where we love to be, and this was we get challenged on highest level again on Sunday.
Okay, that's the end of the broadcast section. Now we're going to move on to the daily